So years ago, I made a video talking about all the issues that I already saw with the field of psychology and by extension behavioral economics. Since I made that video, that field's gotten into way more trouble. All these prestigious professors from all these prestigious universities, it seems like they were sort of fudging data a little bit. As I was digging through my basement, I kept a lot of these studies that I used to read, and I'm gonna put on my old man glasses here. Even without the fudging data stuff that emerged these past few years, let's just read some of these studies that I read back in the day, and you'll see why even back then I used to make fun of psychology so much. There's not enough strict monitoring of data sample size, and we will see that here. So here's the first one. Empathy-based helping. Is it selflessly or selfishly motivated, right? This is tackling a very important moral and ethical issue. It's a big debate within neuroscience even. Oh, look who it is. It's our man Cialdini. I'm not gonna get you guys to follow me along in all this. All I'm going to show you is this part. The experiment one. Let's see how they designed this. 87 female introductory psychology students at Arizona State University participated in the study as partial fulfillment of a course requirement. 6 subjects were dropped from the analyses because they expressed suspicion about the legitimacy of the need situation. Okay, so you only had 87 people. They were all ladies. On top of that, they were all taking the same class to fulfill a credit requirement. When I took social psychology back in college, it was the same thing. Part of the grade in our class was we had to partake and take part in all these social psychology experiments. Some of it was not just social psychology. There were cognitive psychology, maybe even cognitive neuroscience experiments that we could take part in. Some of them were even paid, by the way. The point is, not only is this sample design completely not random, it's what's called a convenience sample in statistics. A convenience sample, it almost sounds like I'm saying comedian sample. You could basically call it that. A convenience sample is basically, I don't put any work into making sure that it's one, either random, or two, it's representative, right? If we're trying to derive some more fundamental knowledge about humanity, you have to be representative. One of the things you learn in statistics about experimental design is that it's hard to achieve a completely representative sample. The easiest proxy to that is to do a truly random sample. But that's another story for another time. This is not a statistics channel. High school statistics, these professors doing this brilliant experiment about empathy and altruism, they're not even following. So I can just do this right now. Anything you learn from this is not applicable. It's only applicable to students who are women who are taking an intro psychology course. That's all it's applicable. And on top of that, you can't even generalize to that because it's the students that cared about their grades, right? So it's a very limited application as to whatever knowledge you learn. So rip this up, man. So let's look at this one. From University of Kansas, more evidence that empathy is a source of altruistic motivation. This was from a course I took on morality and justice. So we read a lot of Supreme Court cases and a lot of historical precedents, but the professor, to try to be interdisciplinary, tried to give us some psychology on top of this. Let's look at the methodology. 84 female introductory psychology students at the University of Kansas participated in the experiment, partially fulfilling a class requirement. I didn't even mention this in the last video, but ASU, Arizona State University, and University of Kansas, they don't even represent all college students. These studies, not only did they not find any guys, because there is a tendency, there's a skew for more women to take psychology classes, right? There's a skew in the types of subjects that men versus women like to study in school. Even if you found a random sample, so you didn't just survey your psychology students, you found a random sample on campus, that still doesn't represent even all college students. And by proxy, by extrapolation, that cannot even represent even a little segment of American society, because as we know, college students, they're just a little segment, very little segment, and this can't even represent college students. Our sample size that we derive all these fundamental things from, 84 ladies from your psychology course, and you sort of forced them to do it because they had to get class credits. So this one also doesn't represent anything. Doesn't represent anything. You're trying to derive something about human nature? 84 college students in your psychology class? Come on, man. I hope you guys get it, man. If you really are interested and curious, read these psych studies. I would say 80% of them have the sample size problem. And of course, maybe I should do a video on this in the future. The past few months, there's been so much scandalous controversy about not just sample size, but fudging of data. It's like they couldn't even just get away with having bad sample size. It seems like, okay, this is something I need to do a bigger exploration on if you guys want me to. Beyond just sample size issues, there's a lot of just fudging of data. But again, I cannot confirm that. I have evidence of the sample size issue because that's a lot of what I studied in college, but the other stuff that's been making the rounds and the controversy, that's something I need more research on. So I can't confirm or deny that until I do some research. Full circle, man. I wanted to make this video in 2016, guys, when I first made that first video. Unfortunately, I didn't have some of these studies in front of me, but as I was digging through my basement, I found some of these useless studies. Useless, truly useless, man. Not applicable. Not applicable even to that college, okay? That's how limited in scope a lot of these psych studies are. And by proxy, behavioral economics, because behavioral economics is basically trying to combine psychology with economics and finance and stuff like that. Okay, guys, this was a passionate one, but it's something that needs to be made. So guys, leave your comments, let me know. Talk to you guys soon.